Hey, Joe, why don't you go lock up a bunch of black people?
That was like 20 years ago, Jack.
People don't forget.
I don't know if you've ever branded any cattle. I have no idea. I'm not sure. I know you've flown helicopters. I know you've served in our military. I don't know if you've ever branded cattle. This is just like a thought. He's from Texas, probably. So like their birthright, right?
No, I mean, I haven't branded cattle, but I've branded a few terrorists. You know, that counts for something.
Okay. There's the clip. So maybe you could brand or explain to me exactly what happened with the Biden brand this morning in front of the courthouse. So here is a photo of Robert De Niro with these giant printed off notes that as far as we can tell is size like 207 font, bigger than Joe Biden note cards.
Right.
Robert De Niro, who's 80 years old, defending his 81-year-old pal, Joe Biden, and not doing a great job. Having what looked like suffering effectively like a senior moment and a panic attack out front of the court. And I guess, I don't know if you've seen the clip or not. It's all over social media. Your thoughts, Congressman?
So we're talking about Robert De Niro here. This is the guy that played in Casino. This is the guy that played in Goodfellas. This is the guy that played in Godfather, one of my all-time favorite movies. This guy has played in Alpha Male, and now he has all of a sudden turned into a beta squish liberal, which makes absolutely no sense to me. This goes back to even The Rock. I don't know if you recall a few weeks ago, we were talking about The Rock and how, he's the attitude era of WWE, talking about layeth the smacketh down on your candy asses, and then he comes out and then backs the biggest beta of all in Joe Biden. So look, these celebrities are talking, but nobody cares and nobody is listening to what they are saying. And this is true because you're seeing a spike in the polls every single week that this sham trial continues to go on. And if anybody's paying attention, we also know that this would have been thrown out immediately if this were a regular person that was not the former president, that is the nominee for the Republican Party, that's going to be the 47th president. And then after Cohen's ridiculous testimony, this should have been thrown out weeks ago, and everybody knows it. I'm not confident that this jury is going to get this right. But what I am confident is that in the court of public opinion, when you see guys like Robert De Niro and these liberal latte California Hollywood liberals coming out in favor of Joe Biden, and they're completely out of touch with middle America, it's actually very good for us. I hate seeing DJT stuck in court. They're doing this on purpose to keep him off the campaign trail. But guess what? He's still on the campaign trail. Do you know in 48 hours last week, President Trump was in my district all day. Then he gets on this plane and flies to the Bronx and gives a rally there. And then we see him a couple of days ago speaking to libertarians. This guy is a political force of nature, and he cannot be stopped. But what we do know is that the DOJ has been weaponized against him. We are watching the Biden administration literally use the DOJ against a former president and future president. And this is exactly what we need to be seeing every day so we can vote accordingly here in November.
Yeah, you brought up such a great point there, Congressman. Yeah, if you're going to make a play, and that's what, shockingly, the Biden campaign is doing. I thought this didn't have anything to do with the Biden campaign, right? But here they are throwing press conferences, and Joe Biden's going to do something from the White House, apparently, later this week. Right. So now they're just like Leroy Jenkins, right? They're just Kool-Aid man straight into it. Yeah, but if you're going to do that, at the very least, you should pick somebody that isn't an adult pretender, like an aging adult pretender who hasn't lived, who's I don't know what Robert De Niro's net worth is, but I assume it's hundreds of millions of dollars.
A lot.
Like he's 5'8", okay? Yeah. So he's like he's really short. And he plays a tough guy on TV, but in real life, yeah, he's totally soy. And I wonder about that. You have a lot of people sounding off online saying, is this really, this is really the voice of the campaign? This is the guy that you wish to put up with high inflation, with prices that are crippling the American family, like a guy with no legal background or expertise. Like, this is who you're choosing to be your messenger? Like, maybe Lady Gaga was better.
Would have been, at least that would make more sense. And then also, do you see the ad with Mark Hamill? It's kind of sad. Like we're talking about Luke Skywalker. Like Luke Skywalker used to fillet people with a lightsaber, and then he's backing Joe Biden. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. It's like Santa Claus is real for us. Like all of our alpha young guys that we're like wanted to emulate and be like have now turned into like these guys that are just weak squishes. And now I have to like watch Star Wars, and now I see his face. I got to fast forward through all Luke Skywalker stuff. It's highly disappointing, you know. But I think this is what it means by watching the Hollywood elites that are completely out of touch with what we as everyday Americans want to see. That's why President Trump is up in every single swing state. He's up against independents in every single swing state because we know better. And we also know that we cannot have 4 more years of Joe Biden. Now, Benny, you know I'm a West Point grad, and last week was the West Point graduation, and Joe Biden gave the commencement speech. And, you know, my brother, sister, and I all graduated from West Point. So I would consider myself to be an expert. I'm like the commencement speech like expert. I've seen quite a few. It was the most abysmal West Point speech that I have ever seen in my life. It was embarrassing. He's at the United States Military Academy talking about his appointment, which was a lie, to the Naval Academy, as if West Point grads want to hear about the Navy. And then he talks about him wanting to play against Roger Staubach and be his receiver in this whole story. It's like this guy clearly has no idea what he's doing, and he has no idea what he is talking about. And you look at that juxtaposition to President Trump getting on his plane and doing rally after rally after rally after rally while being dragged back in court. And then he's being castigated by Niro and Mark Hamill. This is so much better than TV. Like, you can't make this up. You can't make this up. This is a real live reality TV show that's only going to benefit us in November. The contrast is not going to be any more clear in 30 days in that debate. And even though they're going to try President Trump's hands behind his back, we're going to see it over and over again. Joe Biden for 3 minutes is going to just completely fall and trip and fall over his own words, and President Trump is going to rock and roll that debate all day, every day, in spite of the unfair, stupid questions they're going to ask him. And this is why the fight for this nation is right at our fingertips, and we only have a couple more months to get this done, brother.
Real quickly here, they're finding little baggies of cocaine all over D.C. One was just found in the Capitol. You know, there seems to be a very, very positive correlation between Joe Biden needing stimulants to give a speech and little baggies of cocaine found all over Washington. Do you think that Joe Biden should be required to take a drug test before this debate?
Of course he should, and we all know why. This goes back to you bring up a very good point, Benny. This is cocaine was found in the White House. Cocaine. As if Tony Montana lives there. Cocaine was found in the White House. Could you imagine what would happen if cocaine was found in President Trump's White House? I mean, that's an insane thought. They're finding baggies of cocaine all over the place, and then like all of a sudden we don't know whose it is, even though the baggie of cocaine had Hunter Biden's name on the actual baggie, and they still don't know who it's for. It's actually pretty ridiculous for Hunter Biden. Look. The fact that we can even imagine that Joe Biden is not on some kind of stimulant every time he gives up and gives a speech across the nation is ridiculous. We should absolutely require a drug test. We should absolutely, and President Trump, DJT told him that. How about we have a drug test? They're not going to take him up on it, but eventually we're going to find out in that debate that the cocaine and the stimulant or whatever he's on is going to wear off in about 35 minutes. And you're going to see a precipitous fall off in his performance at the 35-minute mark. And as the sun goes down and as the stimulants wear off, you are going to start seeing the real contrast and seeing who the real senile, cognitively declined Joe Biden really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really one for drugs, but I was in a fraternity in college, and I know what's going on. When somebody tries to give a speech and their pupils are completely dilated black,
why are your
just like this,
like the size of like a full moon, bro?
bro, why are you not blinking? That's a little strange. You know, Those humans typically don't go for minutes on end without blinking, but
No.
yeah.
No.
Who are we? Who are we
No.
to judge? Okay, so I did want you to judge something, Congressman, and we didn't. I know you'll have an opportunity to sound off on this Bronx rally. This was unbelievable last week, and it's amazing how quick time passes, because it feels like it was a long time ago. Then it's like Donald Trump is breaking every conceivable barrier. CNN, MSNBC having to admit total defeat. They sent reporters there. They tried to troll Trump supporters. They're like, this is real. This was real support inside of the Bronx, which has probably one of the most diverse regions in the entire country, majority Hispanic and black. And you looked around and you're like, this is populism. This is just like a man who represents all Americans showing up. And it was really remarkable. I didn't know that Trump was in your district. Maybe you were meeting with him. Could you illuminate that sort of 24 hours for us and your sort of take on the Bronx rally?
It was really funny when I met with DJT while he was in Houston. He goes, Wesley, I'm going to go to the Bronx. Wish me luck. I said, Mr. President, you don't need luck. You don't need luck. He knows what he's doing. We have to go fish where the actual fish are. This is a very interesting time in this country because guess what? Every single state is up for grabs. Yes, every single state is winnable. And he is going to Minnesota. He is going to New York. He's going to places where traditionally for the last 20 years, Republicans have not been able to go. And you know why he's doing it? Because he's listening to the Vox Populi. He's listening to the voice of the people. And what he is seeing is this rise in everybody hates what's happening at the border. Everyone hates high taxes. Everybody wants to be safer. Nobody wants to be on the verge of World War III. It doesn't matter what you look like, race, religion, color, or creed. Black issues, Hispanic issues are American issues. And President Trump is taking the fight to America. That's it. And I love the fact that people are responding to him in a manner in which they are, because we have a clear contrast. One of the few times in the history of this country, we have had 4 years of President Trump. We have had 4 years of Joe Biden. And now we get to see them head to head in a rubber match. And looking at these crowds and looking at where he's going and the diversity and the groundswell of the Vox Populi, Benny, this is magic. I've never seen anything like this in my entire life, brother. Like, the people are actually responding to this thing. And MSLSD, I mean NBC and the Communist News Network, they don't know how to square this up. They don't know what to say because they've never seen it. So my guess is President Trump is going to keep this up. What we saw in the Bronx, and my boy Byron Donald was actually up there too, speaking to the crowd with DJT. Man, I am very excited for what we're going to see here in the future. And I've never seen a guy like DJT continue to take the fight to the people, speaking to libertarians, going to the Bronx, going to Minnesota, flying around the country and going bravely where no Republican has gone before, especially in the last couple of decades. It's remarkable to see. And that's why, again, for the third time I've said this on your show, brother, November is going to look very good for us.
Yeah. Okay. So give us kind of that step forward. Like, we see the debates coming up in the calendar. Our GOP convention is going to come up in the calendar. Are you going to be speaking? Do you have any favorites for vice president? Trump says he's going to pick vice president at the GOP convention. What are you hearing, Congressman?
So I think as of right now, I think I do have a slot speaking at the convention. We'll see for sure. We'll get that verified. But in terms of who President Trump is going to pick for his vice president, DJT. Nobody knows but him. This is all speculation. I love watching this. Like each week that goes by, you start seeing the slate of names, and I think he has an idea on what direction that he's going to go in. But two things that I've known about him: he's going to make this pick when he wants to make it, and nobody tells the boss what to do. That's just it. What I do know is this: whoever his VP pick is, doesn't matter. This is about Donald John Trump being our future president, and on day one, signing as many executive orders as necessary to get this country back on track. And I think that needs to be the focus. Let's get him out of court. Let's stop the weaponization of the DOJ against him. Let's get him back on the campaign trail. Let's get to this debate with Joe Biden where he's going to absolutely destroy him. Let's get to the convention, and then let's get to November. And if we as a party can focus on these things, who his VP pick is, who his cabinet's pick is, let him take care of that on his time. Let's galvanize around this guy as a party like yesterday to get him back in office, and everything else will take care of itself, Benny.
I think we're going to start hunt mentum on this program. You can't stop us. You can't stop us. Sorry, Congressman. You have no power here. We're going to start Wesley hunt mentum.
You can't stop him. You can only hope to contain him.
The dark horse, you didn't know it. And here's why. And I'll tell you. Here's why. Just between you and me and the 50,000 people watching right now. I need you to debate Kamala Harris.
So Benny,
because that is must see. That will be the most watched. That will be the most watched and anticipated moment in potentially political history. You versus Kamala Harris. We need it.
Benny, I had a air assault instructor when I went to air assault school, and this guy was a pretty tough guy. And he said, Cadet Hunt, as well as at West Point, Cadet Hunt, I don't make threats, but I keep promises. The idea of me having the opportunity to debate Kamala Harris is something that will be probably one of the greatest moments of my entire life. She would have absolutely no argument to make against me. This is the worst vice president that we have seen in the history of this country. She has the lowest approval rating of any vice president in the history of this country. And while Dick Cheney was vice president, he shot somebody. And thank God it was birdshot and not buckshot. But literally, he shot his friend in the face. And she's doing worse than he is. So the idea of me having the opportunity to debate this person would be, I mean, outside of graduating from West Point and outside of serving my country and outside of marrying my beautiful wife and having children, it would definitely be one of the top 5 moments of my life to absolutely embarrass this person on national television.
Finally, we have an optimistic show. You're a very optimistic guy. Love having you on the program, Congressman. Yeah. This does smack of desperation. If you look at the moves tactically in politics, given the news this morning, bringing out Robert De Niro, bringing out bringing out this like clown car in front of the court, Joe Biden giving a speech from the White House. Dude, like the mask's off, right? The mask's completely off. And it does smack the debate. All of it seems like panic mode. Is that what you're hearing in D.C.?
Absolutely. And it's the canary in the coal mine. And the canary in the coal mine is this. Black men. How does President Trump go to the Bronx and then get that kind of support? It's black men, Hispanic women, and Hispanic men. So when you start looking at these numbers and then you tap Kamala Harris to do minority outreach of all the people, this is the woman that was made the border czar, and she can't even identify where the border is. This is the woman that said, I am trying to find the root causes of what's going on with the border, when the root causes start at 1600 Pennsylvania. We all know this. This is a person that they have now tapped. You're bringing in Robert De Niro. I mean, we're talking about the real heavy hitters here. And then now you're going to put Joe Biden on TV. You're going to let him do a press conference. This guy can't even read. So at the end of the day, this reeks of desperation with 5 months left. And then also I want people to understand this. I hear this a lot. They're going to try to swap Joe Biden out at the convention. You know, he's not, newsflash, people, it's too late. This is why they're behaving like this. They are stuck with senile Joe Biden, and now they're trying to throw as much stuff against the wall to see what sticks. And they realize that no matter what they do, no matter what they throw at DJT, guess what? It ain't working. And they're going to keep on trying till the end. But at this point, when you're rolling out De Niro, I think you're accepting defeat.
Yeah, when you're rolling out De Niro, you're accepting defeat. When you're rolling out Kamala for minority outreach, it does remind us of this clip. I did, just in closing here, I'd like for you to react to Kamala Harris's hip hop party. This is supposed to attract black men to the Democrat Party. It's a minefield here I'm putting in front of you, but maybe you can sound off here.
Happy to sound off about it. So Kamala Harris amongst black men is an absolute joke. And it's because of photos like this. And this is the definition of her trying to culturally appropriate herself, to ingratiate herself to the community that she's done absolutely nothing for. Again, this is the same person that has locked up more black people because of marijuana charges than any other person in the entire country. Then she became the vice president. This is the person that accused Joe Biden of being a racist on national TV during their debate. And then when offered the vice presidency, which is only polling at 1%, okay, now she's the vice president, which means that she has no scruples and she'll do anything. And then that's her dancing to, and I believe that song was Vibrant Thing by Q-Tip. She doesn't even know that. I mean, I know it because I'm like a real black dude. I can guarantee you she had absolutely no idea what song that was. And this is the White House trying to culturally appropriate herself to the black community. It's disgusting. Yeah. These people are fake. They are not real, and black men are seeing right through this. And that's why President Trump is going to get between 25 and 30% of the black male votes, because they are sick of somebody like Kamala Harris dancing the Vibrant Thing poorly, by the way, and thinking that that's how they're going to get our vote, when we really care about low taxes. We really care about our safety. We really care about border security, because black issues are American issues, and these people have failed on every front when it comes to American issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, whew. That is the flamethrower right there. We've seen that clip. We've seen this clip too many times. It reminds me of divorced soccer mom at Chili's during 2-for-1 margarita hour, waiting on her jalapeno poppers.
Not a bad deal.
It's not a bad deal.
Not a terrible deal, buddy.
From the state of Texas, the very great Congressman Wesley Hunt. Ladies and gentlemen, head on over. Give Wesley Hunt a follow on X. Make sure that our friends are supported and that our community grows. 205,000 Americans cannot be wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, our movement will win because of Congressman like Wesley Hunt. Godspeed.
Thank you, brother. Man, thank you for having me.